We are stalled in some places, and most of our stalls in our lives are not complicated. They're not complicated. No, they're protected. We're not stuck in some places because we cannot move. We're stuck because staying still is paying us more than actually leaving the places we are today. I want to raise that question. Why do we sit here? Why do we sit here? Why do we remain in this stall? Why are we still kicking the can down the road? Why is the federal deficit still growing? Why are we stalled? What are you comfortable being broken about? That's the first question I need to ask you. And this is basically the problem, the issue of familiar suffering. Will you be made whole? 38 years, this man is on a mat at the pool of healing. He's surrounded by miracles. He's close enough to see what could happen. He's close enough to see the possibility, the water moving, the stirring of the water. But he was too far to ever catch it. But when Jesus walks up, Jesus did not ask him what was wrong with him. He doesn't say what's wrong with you. You know what's wrong with you. But the question is, do you want this to change? This thing that you have been sitting with, this brokenness that you've been comfortable about and comfortable with, do you want it to change? Because some stalls are not waiting on God. Some of the stalls that we are in are not waiting on God to move. They're waiting on us to be honest about whether we want to leave that mat, to leave that place, the mat that has given us our identity. Lame, broken, sad, divorced, bankrupt. The mat that has given us our identity, the mat that has given us pity and sympathy of the world. And that same mat gives us an excuse. And when we have been on that mat long enough, when we've been in that condition long enough, the mat starts to feel like home. Some of us are not lying down in familiar suffering. Some of us are sitting upright at a gate, looking like we have it all together. We figured it out. Looking like we've made the right decision. Looking like we've chosen correctly. And that is a different kind of dangerous. This is not the problem of comfortable or familiar suffering. This is the problem of dying safely. And the question is, why sit we here until we die? There are 4 lepers at the gate of Samaria in our text here. There's famine inside of the city, and the enemy army is outside of the walls. They have been besieged by the enemy. So these lepers are at the gate. The enemy is on the outside. The famine is eating people up on the inside, and they were sitting in the only place that felt safe. They were sitting between 2 certainties of death. If they go inside, they were going to die of famine. If they go outside, they were going to die by the army. Then one of them said that the most courageous sentence, I believe, in Scripture. He raised the question. He said it out loud. He says, why sit we here until we die? We're going to die. Why we sit here dying? Not how do we win? Not how do we survive? No, he just asked, why are we accepting this as the final answer? And my question is to somebody, why are you accepting this as your final answer? This is the second cost of staying the same, of staying stuck, of staying stalled. We start mistaking the gate for a destination. The mat is familiar suffering. The gate is convenient surrender. It's dying safely. So here's where we are. Some of us have been on the mat so long, we've stopped calling it a problem. It's become our identity. And some of us have been at the gate so long that we start calling it a plan and not a death sentence. But the text will not let us stay in either place. There's another text that we need to go to, because there is a race that we have been graced to run. The writer of Hebrews does not say we ought to try harder. He does not say we need to believe more. He says that we need to lay it aside. We need to lay aside the weight. We need to lay aside the sin that so easily besets, that hinders us, that holds us back. The thing that does not look like sin because it has been with us so long, and we call it personality. And we ought to lay aside the weight. We ought to lay aside the sin and all of those things that hold us back because of the promise that we have. This is the liberating word that he gives us, because what we've got and because what got us on the map will keep us on the map. What allowed us to stall at the gate will keep us stalled at the gate. And the race that is set before us cannot be run carrying the same weight that stopped us the last time we tried. The cross that Jesus died on for us did that costly work. His finished work on that cross and the grace that God extends to us today gives us the strength to get up out of the mat, off the mat, and to move past the gate. But we have to do the simple thing.